flex, especially when you're talking to a man as a woman, right? You have to like talk really fast to get it all out before they interrupt you. Also, I was kind of like, you know, like some people like a faster whisper, whereas some people like a slower whisper, and like in ASMR, you're never gonna please everybody, so like I didn't take it personally. I was just like, how do I tell this person that when I'm making ASMR videos, I'm actually like consciously talking way slower than I normally would? But sometimes I like go back into it because I think that like my whisper does have like this little clicky thing that's nice. Anyways, after all of that, Midsummer is a lot about campfires, like bonfires, so I thought we would light a candle before we started. You guys know this one, it's the one with the crackling wick. The crackling wick. Also, I'm sorry if the beginning wasn't very tingly. I'm gonna try harder now. This candle is soy and it's made in Saskatchewan. It's also coconut lime flavored. It's not important to you, so I got my big lighter. I just found out that you have to be 21 to buy a lighter in the United States. I think I read that on Twitter and I was like, that's whack. You can literally buy a lighter in Canada at any age. Like you literally just go to the store and they're like in the impulse towers at stores and you just buy one. Okay, I'm just gonna put that down and you should be able to hear it in the background. So, let's just get started with fact number 1. Midsummer's Eve is a holiday celebrating the longest day of the year in the Northern Hemisphere, or the summer solstice, on June 21st. Number 2. Midsummer's Eve is observed in several countries. It is a national holiday in Sweden and Finland. In Sweden, the holiday is officially observed on a Friday between June 19th and 25th, whereas in Finland, it is officially celebrated on a Saturday between June 20th and 26th, though festivities begin the preceding Friday evening. Fact number 3. Midsummer's Eve activities in Sweden include gathering around a floral, festooned maypole to sing and dance, an ancient custom probably related to fertility rites. Fact number 4. Before the holiday, Scandinavians thoroughly clean their houses and decorate them with flowers and other greenery. Number 5. In Denmark, holiday traditions include, it's in Dutch, so I can't really pronounce it, Viaskerwoord, or We Love Our Land. I'm so sorry, I butchered that. And building a bonfire where a symbolic straw witch is sacrificed in remembrance of church-sanctioned witch burnings for the 16th and 17th centuries. Traditional foods such as pickled herring, smoked fish, new potatoes, and strawberries are served along with beer and schnapps. Not gonna lie, that does sound like a very fun time. Like, that sounds good. Okay. Number 6. The celebration predates Christianity and is likely related to ancient fertility practices and ceremonies performed to ensure a successful harvest. The holiday was later rededicated to honor Saint John the Baptist in Christian times. Although the meaning of the holiday has changed, some pagan customs still persist, such as the bonfires, which originally were believed to ward off evil spirits, and the focus on nature, which harkens back to when plants and water were thought to have magical healing powers on Midsummer's Eve. So just a side note, therefore, the rest of these facts are Midsummer and St. John Baptist feast day, like mixed together. So, I'm basically using the words interchangeably to mean the same thing. Okay. Number 7. businesses shut down and roads are cleared. That eerie serenity is broken as soon as you hit the main thoroughfares, which are typically congested with cars looking to get to the country. Number 8. Fact number 8. Midsummer. The movie directed by Ari Aster is based off of the Midsummer Festival. I really want to watch it, but I can't watch things like that alone, and I don't have anyone to watch it with. That's it, that's all I have to say. Okay. Number 9. During Midsummer, both men and women participate in a tradition. They pick 7 different species of flowers and put them under their pillow. Legend has it that their future spouse will appear to them in a dream. Due to the romance of the festival, Sweden experiences quite the uptick in its population. According to CNN, many children are born exactly 9 months following the celebration. I think I'd rather be born 9 months after Midsummer than 9 months after Valentine's Day. Okay. Number 10. Traditionally, Midsummer revelers eat potatoes, pickled herring, and strawberries for lunch, and they typically imbibe on beer and aquavit, a spirit distilled from potatoes or grains and flavored with either caraway or dill seed. There's no masking the taste either. People usually drink it straight, though chasing it with beer is not unheard of. Wine and other beverages are rare sights. Are you basically telling me that people drink like dill pickle vodka? Is that basically what it is? That's so funny. Oh my gosh, okay. Number 11. Revelers in Sweden typically attend midsummer parties in casual or garden party type clothing, but some make an effort to wear the traditional folk dress or folkdräkten. See, my stepdad is actually South African, so he speaks Afrikaans, so I feel like I can sort of pronounce like Dutch and other kinds of like European languages because it's similar, especially Dutch and Afrikaans, because Afrikaans is just like a Dutch dialect basically. So then I feel like I can like pronounce it because I'm more familiar with it than I feel other people like in Canada would be anyway. So I'm like, I feel like I can do it and I can like sound it out anyway, whatever. But some make an effort to wear the traditional folk dress or folkdräkten of their region. In Somaliland, women wear white lace blouses and ankle-length skirts, men wear blue vests and elkskin pants, and participants make their own flower crowns or crowns, I think. Number 12. There's a significant amount of singing that goes into Midsummer. One traditional song is called Little Frogs. Partygoers sing the lyrics that the little frogs are funny to observe, while dancing around the maypole and pretending to hop around like amphibians. Number 13. Swedish furniture store IKEA doesn't let Midsummer go by unnoticed. Each year, stores will often lay out a Midsummer smorgasbord for customers. The all-you-can-eat buffet runs for $16.99 or $4.99 for kids and features trademark Midsummer dishes like herring potato salad and fresh strawberries. Number 14. In ancient Rome, the Julian calendar placed the summer solstice on June 24th. Number 15. Midsummer's Eve is also the feast day for St. John the Baptist. Yeah, that's repetitive. Regan. Number 16. In Estonia, Latvia, Lithuania, and Quebec, Midsummer Day, June 24th, is a public holiday. 17. In the town of Kaltuga, Latvia, it is marked by people running naked through the streets at 3 a.m. Number 18. In Sweden, the Midsummer is such an important festivity that there are proposals to make Midsummer's Eve into the National Day of Sweden instead of June 6th. 19. In Denmark and Norway, Midsummer is also referred to as St. Hans Day instead of St. John the Baptist. Number 20. St. John's Day, the feast of St. John the Baptist, was established by the Undivided Christian Church Shakespeare wrote a play about Midsummer's Eve. A play. My bad, that typed out wrong. William Shakespeare wrote a play about Midsummer's Eve called A Midsummer Night's Dream. One of the most infamous lines from the play is, "The lunatic, the lover, and the poet are of imagination all compact." 25. Midsummer is a peak time for the Nordic nations to get sunlight. They have days that eclipse nights. It is also one of the warmest times a year and allows access to many remote places that aren't accessible during the long, snowy winter months. 26. Midsummer is a very popular time of year for weddings. Despite not being very religious, the Swedish love big weddings. 27. Fact number 27. The 13th century monk of Winchcombe, Gloucestershire, who compiled a book of sermons from Christian feast days, recorded how St. John's Eve was celebrated in his time. Let us speak of the revels which are accustomed to be made on St. John's Eve, of which there are 3 kinds. On St. John's Eve, in certain regions, the boys collect bones and certain other rubbish and burn them, and therefrom a smoke is produced on the air. They also make brands and go about the fields with the brands. Thirdly, the wheel which they roll. I don't really know what that means. The last part, I understand the other parts. Anyway, number 28. In Austria, the midsummer solstice is celebrated each year with a procession of ships down the Danube River as it flows through the wine-growing Wachau Valley north of Vienna. Up to 30 ships sail down the river in line as fireworks erupt from the banks and hilltops, while bonfires blaze and the vineyards are lit up. Lighted castle ruins also erupt with fireworks during the 90-minute cruise downstream. That sounds lovely, actually. Not to be dramatic, but that sounds really nice. 29. Portuguese St. John's Day, brought to Brazil during colonial times, has become a popular event that is celebrated during a period that starts 1 week before St. Anthony's Day, June 12th, and ends after St. Peter's Day on June 29th. This nationwide festival, called the June Festival, takes place during midwinter in most of the country. Interesting. Number 30. On Midsummer Day, Bulgarians celebrate Anovden. On the same day, the Eastern Orthodox Church celebrates the day of St. John the Baptist, and the rites and traditions of both holidays are often mixed. A fire-related ritual may also be performed in and coastal Croatia, is celebrated on June 23rd. The people light large bonfires in the name of St. John Baptist, and the celebration can also be connected to the Old Slavic tradition, Kresnik, or South Slavic version of Perun, the god of the sun. There are places in Croatia where St. John the Baptist is the patron, and their tradition is different. The village folk, and especially children, bring firewood to a designated place, and then a bonfire is lit at sunset. After the bonfire burns out, the children jump, walk, or run on the embers of the bonfire because it is believed their feet won't hurt if they do it. There is also the tradition of which village makes the bigger bonfire, a competition that the village folk will talk and boast about tomorrow after the church ceremony. The tradition everywhere else in Croatia is pretty similar, but mostly the bonfires are lit, but the walking on embers is not done anymore. Okay, 34. John's Day, or Midsummer Day in English, or St. John's Day for Christians, was celebrated long before the arrival of Christianity in Estonia. Although the day was given its name by the Crusaders, the day is still known by many names. I'm very interested. I guess John and would come from the similar name like Johann. Is that kind of why it's Hans? I don't know. The gears are turning. Okay. On the number 35, 35. On the Faroe Islands, St. John's Eve is generally not celebrated. However, on the southernmost island of Suouroi, it is observed by lighting a bonfire. Only one bonfire is lit on the island, as one of the two biggest towns hosts the celebration alternatively every other year. 36. An important feature of the Midsummer festival in Finland is the White Night and the Midnight Sun. Because of Finland's location around the Arctic Circle, the nights near the Midsummer Day are short, with twilight even at midnight, or non-existent. This gives a great contrast to the darkness of the winter time. Number 37. In folk magic, midsummer was a very potent night and the time for many small rituals, mostly for young maidens seeking suitors and fertility. Will-o'-the-wisps were believed to appear at midsummer night, particularly to finders of the mythical fern in bloom and possessors of the fern seed, marking a treasure. In the old days, maidens would use special charms and bend over a well naked in order to see their future husband's reflection. Number 38. It is also common in many European countries to start summer vacation on Midsummer Day. 39. In France, the Feast of St. John traditionally celebrated the bonfires, or I guess it would be St. John the Baptist, that are reminiscent of Midsummer's pagan rituals, is a Catholic festivity in celebration of St. John the Baptist. It takes place on June 24th, on Midsummer Day. France also rejoices on June 21st for the Fête de la Musique, which became an international celebration over time. I don't want to hear about my French accent either. It's Quebec French, don't even come at me. It's Quebecois, okay? Number 40. The day of the sun solstice in German. On June 20th, 1653, the Nuremberg Town Council issued the following order, where experience therefore have shown that after the old heathen use on John's Day in every year in every country, as well in towns as villages, money and wood have been gathered by young folk, and thereupon the so-called sonnenwinden or cement fire kindled, and thereat wine piping, dancing about the said fire, leaping over the same, with burning and sun-dry herbs and flowers, and setting of brands from the said fire in the fields, and in many other ways all manner of superstitious work carried on. Therefore the Honorable Council of Nuremberg town neither can nor ought to forbear to do any with all such unbecoming folk superstition, paganism, and peril of fire on this coming day of St. John. Bonfires are still custom in many areas in Germany. People gather to watch the bonfires and celebrate the solstice. The date marks the end of harvest for spring vegetables such as asparagus or for rhubarb. Basically, what they said was like, this isn't going to be a pagan festival, but we'll still have a bonfire and we'll still harvest vegetables. Okay. Number 41. According to Eastern Orthodox tradition, the eve of the day of the nativity of John the Baptist is celebrated with festivals in many towns and villages, both in the mainland and the Greek Isles. Traditionally, the Midsummer celebration is called Glindones, meaning sign or oracle, and was considered a time when unmarried girls would discover their potential mates through a ritual. It is also customary to this day to burn the May Day wreaths that are used to decorate the doors of the houses for the previous 2 months in large communal bonfires, accompanied by music, dancing, and jumping over the flames. It takes place on May 30th or May 31st. 42. Fact number 42. On June 21st, Hungarians celebrate St. Ivan's Night. Ivan being derived from the Slavic form of Johann or John. Ivan, see, I was right, which may correspond to Hungarian. Okay, the whole month of June was once called the month of St. Ivan until the 19th century. Setting fires is a folklore tradition. This night, girls jumped over it while boys watched the spectacle. I can't believe Johann is equivalent to John. Why is that like such a downgrade? Johann is such a cool name, and then we're really gonna come out here with English and it's gonna be John. Not even Jonathan. Okay. 43. In India, within the context of Hinduism, the summer solstice, or Midsummer's Day, takes place on the 21st of June. It is a day denoted with celebration, observation, and the practice of yoga. 44. Many towns and cities in Ireland have midsummer carnivals with various concerts and fireworks either on or on the weekend nearest to midsummer. In rural spots throughout the west, northwest, southwest, and Cork, bonfires are lit on hilltops on St. John's Eve. 45. San Giovanni's Day has been celebrated in Florence since medieval times, and certainly in the Renaissance, with festivals sometimes lasting 3 days from the 21st to the 24th of June. And last but